Dinner, 1986, page 172. Much to Henry's surprise, Samantha was an incredible cook. Henry had a special affinity for anyone with talent in the kitchen, since he himself did most of the cooking in his own home. Even before Ethel fell ill, he had liked to cook. But after the cancer hit, all of the cooking and the cleaning, the washing, everything fell to Henry. He didn't mind. She was in such pain, always sick, always suffering from the cancer or the radiation treatments that were designed to kill parts of her insides. Both ravaged her small, frail body. The least Henry could do was cook her favorite pan-fried noodles or make her fresh mango custard with mint. Even though near the end, as wonderful as it sounded, she'd had little appetite. It was all Henry could do to get her to drink fluids, and at the very end she really just wanted to go, needed to go. He thought of that, and fought off a wave of melancholy as his son offered a toast, raising his cup of Hongju, a fermented wine that tasted much like grain alcohol. To a successful find, in the basement time capsule of the Panama Hotel. Henry raised his glass, but followed up with only a sip, as Marty and Samantha downed their cups, wincing and grimacing at the strong, eye-watering taste. "Geez, that burns," Marty groaned. Smiling, Henry filled his son's cup again with a clear, innocent-looking liquid that just as easily be used to strip the grease from used car parts. "To Oscar Holden and long-lost recordings," Samantha toasted. No, I'm done. I knew my limit," Marty said, lowering her arm, grounding it once again to the round table in the corner of the small dining room that also functioned as Henry's living room. It was a quiet, reflective place, alive with potted plants like the jade plant that Henry had nurtured since Marty was born. The walls were covered with family photos, colorful and bright against the once white surface that now looked tarnished and yellow, darkened in the corners like coffee-stained teeth. Henry looked at his son and the young woman he was obviously enchanted with. Holding their cups, feeling the burn, how different they were, and how little it mattered. Their differences were unnoticeable. So alike and so happy. Hard to tell where one person ended and the other began. Marty was happy. Successful, good grades, and happy. What more could any father want for his son? And as Henry looked at the vast pile of crab shells and the empty platter of chum soy, he realized Samantha's cooking rivaled that of Ethel's in her heyday. Even his own cooking. Marty had chosen well. "Okay, who's ready for dessert?" "I'm so full," Marty groaned, pushing his plate away. "There's always room," Henry taunted as Samantha stepped into the kitchen and returned, bringing out a small platter. "What's this?" Henry asked, stunned. He expected green tea ice cream. "I made this especially for my future father-in-law. The ice cream's for me. But this," she set a plate of delicately spun white candies in front of Henry. "This is something for a special occasion. It's dragon-speared candy." The last time Henry had had dragon-speared candy was long before Ethel got sick. As he bit into the thread-thin strands of sugar wrapped around a filling of grated coconut and sesame seeds, he watched Marty smile, nodding in approval as if to say, "See, Pops, I knew you'd like her." It was delicious. "This takes years to learn to make. How did you—" "I've been practicing," Samantha explained. "Sometimes you have to just go for it. Try for what's hardest to accomplish, like you and your childhood sweetheart." Henry choked a little on his dessert, tasting the sweet filling and clearing his throat. "I see my son's been sharing stories." He couldn't help it. "And besides, haven't you ever wondered what happened to her? No disrespect to your wife, but this girl, whoever she may be, might still be out there somewhere. Aren't you curious where she is and where she might be?" Henry looked at his cup of wine, then finished it in one slow pour. Biting back the sting and watery sensation it brought to his eyes, he felt his sinuses clearing as it burned. Setting the cup down, he looked at Samantha and Marty, weighing their expressions, equal parts hope and wishful thinking. "I have thought about her," Henry, searching for the words, unsure of Marty's reaction. Knowing how much his son loved Ethel, not wanting to trample her memory. "I have thought about her. All the time. Right now, in fact. It would be wrong to tell you that, wouldn't it? But that was a long time ago. People grow up. They marry, start families, life goes on." Henry had thought about Keiko off and on through the years, from a longing to a quiet, somber acceptance, to sincerely wishing her the best, that she might be happy. That was when he realized that he did love her. More than what he'd felt all those years ago. He loved her enough to let her go, to not go dredging up the past. And besides, he had Ethel, who had been a loving wife. And of course he had loved her as well. And when she fell ill, he would have changed places with her if he could. To see her get up and walk again, he'd gladly have lain down in that hospice bed. But in the end, he was the one who had to keep living. When he saw those things coming up from the basement of the Panama Hotel, he had allowed himself to wonder and to wish. For an Oscar Holden record no one believed existed, and for evidence of a girl who'd once loved Henry for who he was, even though he was from the other side of the neighborhood. Marty watched his father deep in thought. "You know, Pops, you have her stuff, her sketchbooks anyway. I mean, Even if she's married and all, I think she'd still appreciate getting those back. And if you were the one to give them to her, what a nice coincidence that might be." "I have no idea where she is," Henry protested as his son filled his cup with more wine. "She might not even be alive. 40 years is a long time, and almost no one has claimed anything from the Panama. Almost no one. People didn't look back, and there was nothing to return to, so they moved on." It was true. Henry knew it. And from the look on his face, Marty knew it too. But still, no one had thought the record still existed, and it was found. Who knew what else he might find if he looked hard enough?